Well, it's Monday afternoon and Newcastle United are still pushing on with their attempt to sign Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace. Talks have been going on right across the weekend. As reported on Saturday night on Chronic Live, Newcastle not leaving the room on this one, trying to get this deal pushed through. It would give Newcastle that star quality they need to add to the defence. If they really are going to sustain a top four push, they're going to need players like Marc Guehi, and he is a player now that probably wants answers himself, because at the end of the day this has been going on now for best part of 10 days perhaps, and Newcastle United have shown that they are prepared to keep going with this. And sporting director Paul Mitchell, we've seen him on Saturday, he was in the stand, he was down in the tunnel, he was up, he was down. He's basically working very hard to try and get this one over the line, and Newcastle have shown that they're prepared to continue bidding for this player. This is the third bid that's gone in for Guehi now. And yeah, Crystal Palace at the weekend, I guess they were just shown their hand basically by playing him in that game against Nantes at Selhurst Park. They've got every right to do that, it's their prerogative. He's still their player, and basically that's what was going on there. I don't think there was anything untoward in it. It was just basically Crystal Palace saying, if you want to sign him, we'll use him while we've got him. And that's pretty much what happens with a lot of transfers, a lot of targets in each window, where basically the selling club will stick to their guns. That's basically what they were doing at the weekend. So Marc Guehi, the talks go on. Newcastle United's willingness is there. Eddie Howe wants to sign him, he wants to work with him. It looks like the player wants to come as well, but you never know in the window until that deal's done, until that player is holding up the scarf. Things can change, other clubs can come in, contracts can be offered. Anything can happen basically in the next 10 days of this window. It's going to be pretty crazy. All the big deals done? Not quite. I think Newcastle are still hanging in there on this one, and there might be something else in the pipeline. There's certainly going to be one or two departures at St James's Park as well. So lots going on. Remember, Bobby Clark left Newcastle. Controversially, Newcastle United didn't offer him a professional deal. He ended up going to Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp absolutely loved him. He made 15 appearances there, scoring in the Europa League. But it looks like the time has come to move on, because he wants regular first team football, something he may not get under the new manager at Liverpool. There's about 15 clubs looking for him on loan. They're all listed in the story that's on the website at the moment. And yeah, it looks like Salzburg, Red Bull Salzburg, will be trying to get that deal done for him. But what's it got to do with Newcastle? Well, what it's got to do with Newcastle is that Newcastle appear to have been offered Bobby Clark back. It would cost them 12 million, north of 12 million to do it, but Newcastle completely overloaded with midfielders. And while Eddie Howe does like the player, they've just got so many central midfielders that it doesn't look like that's going to happen at the moment. It's one where in the future could be revisited. He is only 19, he's a Newcastle fan. It's one to keep an eye on, but ultimately for Bobby Clark, he must play football this season, and this is an opportunity for him to do that. So that's the latest on that one. Other departures potentially, the Ryan Fraser talks with Southampton are still going on. There's suggestions that Isaac Hayden could be going on loan somewhere as well. There is also a suggestion that Jamal Lewis could be close to leaving Newcastle. Eddie Howe admitting on Friday night that he cannot guarantee him first team football. Could he stay around as a squad player? Possibly, but the fact of the matter is that Jamal Lewis will need to play first team football as well. He's 26. He had that loan move to Watford last season, didn't work out for him. Hopefully he can get first team football, could bring in some money for Newcastle, could free up some of the wage budget, but plenty going on at the moment. Newcastle now closing in on that Southampton game, but deals could be done before the big kick-off. And what of that Southampton game? Well, Newcastle warmed up in style, didn't they, at the Cellar weekend, lifting the trophy. They hammered Girona 4-0 on Friday night, and then on Saturday, a solitary goal won it from Harvey Barnes against Stade Brest, and basically Newcastle go into that Southampton game on a high. There'd been a little dip, of course, in pre-season when Newcastle lost in Tokyo 2-0 to Yokohama, but they came back with style in cooler conditions, and over the weekend pulled off 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, 5 goals. Eddie Howe probably couldn't ask much more against Champions League opposition, remember, and now the challenge is for Newcastle to kick on in the Premier League and get off to a flying start against Southampton, and the build-up for that starts right here.